It's time for the Prete Is On with Dave Prete here on 92.1 The Team, WCKR Hornell. Here's Dave Prete.
And welcome everyone to the show. Week number 7 complete of the coronavirus lockdown. Can't believe that it has been almost 2 months of isolation, hopefully coming to an end soon, as Governor Cuomo in his State of the Corona address this week did mention that our schools are closed for the rest of the year. No surprise, I don't think, to anybody. So the schools, the colleges, all done for the year. So parents who have kids and have had kids at home and are working from home, it's going to be a tough few more months for you guys, but hopefully things get back to normal sooner rather than later. Sports world definitely has been affected as some major announcements of cancellations this week, and I'll get to those in just a few minutes. Before I do, I want to welcome the producer of the show, Brian O'Neill. Brian, welcome.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, doing a good job as usual, Brian. Can you believe it's been 7 weeks of lockdown for the coronavirus? Almost 2 months, Brian.
Yeah, it's been you'd have to go back 100 years to have experienced anything like it, though. I guess the flu epidemic of 1918. Wow.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody or too many people, at least, that were alive for that. So this is something that a couple of generations, at least, have not experienced in their lifetime. So we're getting through it. We're almost, seeing the end of the tunnel, at least for now. Hopefully there's not a second wave of this stuff, as some of the experts have been talking about. But, hopefully as we move closer into the summer months, we can get out of the house and go back to at least some level of normalcy. Sports world, though, has been affected. Obviously, the past couple of months, a lot of events canceled. The NCAA tournament, which was, huge news. First time that's ever happened, or first time in several years that's happened. The NFL draft, which we'll talk a little bit about here in our first segment, that just took place last weekend, the first time ever a virtual draft. What was really interesting to me about that was that the virtual draft that they had last weekend was the highest watched or most watched NFL draft of all time. And I don't know if it's because, people were home, not out and about, and there wasn't, a whole lot to do on a Thursday through Saturday, so why not watch the NFL draft? Or if it was because of the intrigue of how it was going to be held. And it was really interesting. We talked a little bit about it in last week's show, but because last week's show was pre-recorded on Friday, we didn't get to talk about the second or third round of the draft. We only talked about the first round. We'll talk a little bit about what the Bills did, since they're kind of our local team. They actually had a very good draft, in my opinion. We'll talk a little bit about that. Some of the other sporting events that have been canceled, or postponed, I should say, nationally, the Little League World Series. And what a bummer that is, because, these kids that played Little League all year round, and not just here in this country, but, across the world. This is a huge event for them. The first time I can ever remember the Little League World Series being canceled. Of course, that's played about 2 hours down the road in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's a huge event that not only, the city benefits from, but the whole area. So that's been canceled for this year. No Little League World Series. The Major League Baseball Hall of Fame inductions, which included four inductees this year. The most notable, Derek Jeter, who, of course, very popular, especially among Yankee fans, but just very popular in general, now owns the Miami Marlins. He has to wait another year, as they have postponed his induction, along with Larry Walker and 2 other individuals, to 2021. So it's actually going to be a very big class of inductees next year if you combine the 4 this year and whoever gets inducted into next year's Hall of Fame. So That, of course, takes place in Cooperstown, New York, just about 3 hours from here. That'll take place next summer versus this summer. And then yesterday, the NBA announced that the lottery draft has also been postponed. And that, of course, is a big event because it decides who, gets the early picks in the NBA draft. So the NBA lottery has been postponed. So this coronavirus affecting, people in many different ways, not just in the sports world, of course, but because this is a sports show, that's what we're going to talk about. But let's go back to the NFL draft and some of the happenings in the NFL over the past week or two. We didn't get a chance last week when I had my guest Paul Keeley on, and Paul and I talked about round one of the NFL draft. We didn't get a chance to talk about a move that was made by my beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple of days prior to the draft, and that was the trade for Rob Gronkowski to the New England Patriots. So I'm sure everybody is familiar with the move now. The Bucs acquire tight end Rob Gronkowski, who played a number of years with now Bucs quarterback Tom Brady. The two of them played in New England, won some Super Bowls together. They're good friends off the field. They have such a strong connection on the field as well. Maybe the best QB tight end combo ever in the NFL history, arguably. So Gronk goes to Tampa. It certainly has made for quite an entertaining offseason for the Buccaneers so far, with Brady coming in, now Gronk. Gronk actually didn't take him too long to start some controversy, made a joke on Twitter about how when he was with the Patriots, he was already reading the Bucs playbook, and he had meant it as a joke about going to play with Brady because he knew Brady was potentially going to go down there or leave the Patriots. Some people took it the wrong way, saying, oh my gosh, how did Gronk get a hold of the Bucs playbook? So he had to clarify that. Tom Brady, of course, came under some fire in the past week because he had walked into his offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich's house in Tampa, simply to obtain the playbook so he could study it and get to learn it before the season starts. And, of course, the NFL, with a very strong social distancing policy that they're enforcing right now, Brady did receive permission to go to his coach's house, not before he had walked into the house of a stranger who he thought was his offensive coordinator's house. So that was kind of a cool, funny story, especially if you're the guy sitting on your couch and Tom Brady walks in. But Brady took some heat from the NFL and other teams, saying he broke the social distancing rule, he needs to be punished. NFL came back and said, no, he didn't break it. It was okay that he went and got the playbook. So already there's Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski drama in Tampa Bay. You knew it was going to happen. It comes with the territory and all the Brady hate, and it's just in a different place now. But, I got to tell you, as a Bucs fan, I'll take that drama if it leads us to a winning season and it leads us to a potential championship run. Because, a 43-year-old Tom Brady, to me, is still better than a interception machine that we had in Jameis Winston. So we'll see where all that drama goes and where that leads to. The Buffalo Bills, very, very good draft by the Bills. And if you're a Bills fan, you've got to be happy with what they did. They were already the favorites to win the AFC East. Now with Brady departing and the Patriots kind of on the downslide, the Bills did nothing but improve their chances through this draft. I loved the fact that they drafted A.J. Epineza, the edge rusher. The Bills with a great value pick with Epineza. He was in many mock drafts projected to be picked in the mid to late first round, early second round. The Bills got him in the mid second round. So they get a first round type talent in the middle of the second round. And that's huge for them because not only do they improve their defense with that pick, but they also have a potential replacement for Trent Murphy, who is big cap hit right now, salary cap hit for the Bills. Jerry Hughes, who's nearing the end of his contract with the Bills, may leave as a free agent. They also picked up running back depth behind Devin Singletary with Zach Moss, and I love that pick. Zach Moss is a guy who I thought would also go earlier. I was actually hoping my Buccaneers would take him in the third round when they took a running back, but they passed over Moss. So Moss will be a great complement to Devin Singletary. The pick of the Bills that I don't really understand was their fifth-rounder, Jake Fromm, quarterback from Georgia. I like Fromm, and I think Fromm could have potential in the NFL as a quarterback. He was a Heisman candidate this past year. The Bills don't need Jake Fromm, though. They have Josh Allen, who is their starter for the foreseeable future. I mean, he's their franchise quarterback. At least that's what they're grooming him to be. They have Matt Barkley, who's a solid backup quarterback. Perhaps they're looking to move on from Barkley and bring a backup in that they can pay less money to. I don't know. But at best, I think that Fromm is a third string quarterback that the Bills took in the fifth round. And I know it's the fifth round. I get it. That's, you kind of take the best value at that point. But there's other directions I think that the Bills could have gone in the fifth round versus taking another quarterback that may not even make the roster. We'll see how that plays out. But other than that, I thought the Bills had a great draft, and it's going to be an exciting season, I think, for the Bills and their fans coming up because, as I said, the Patriots are reeling right now. Bills are the favorites for the AFC East, and I would be very surprised if they're not the division winners come the end of the season, which hopefully there is an NFL season coming up this fall. So when we come back, I have Brian Dyring, who is the head coach of the Cornell High School varsity baseball team, and also the head coach of the girls varsity basketball team. We're going to see what Brian is up to during this time, talk a little bit about how the coronavirus restrictions have affected his baseball and season and how they affected the talent of his basketball season, and just see what he's doing to look ahead towards the next year. So we'll be back with Brian Dyring after this break.
This local sports show here on 92.1 The Team is brought to you in part by Rhonda Wilsey. Spring is here. Now's the time to buy or sell your home. When choosing a local real estate agent, choose someone with 2 decades of experience. Rhonda Wilsey has been helping people like you find their new home for over 18 years. Call Rhonda Wilsey at 607-382-4539 or email Rhonda at rhondawilsey@howardhanna.com.
Do you lead an active lifestyle? Are you trying to reach that next level in your fitness or active lifestyle? Stop into Next Level Wellness in Hornell. Next Level Wellness offers CBD options that help promote muscle recovery and regrowth. Their CBD products are the perfect addition to pre- and post-workouts. CBD helps reduce inflammation, allowing you to recover faster from workouts. If you're ready to step up your training or take your game to the next level, then stop into Next Level Wellness or shop online at nxlevelwellness.com. Next Level Wellness, 10 Seneca Street, Hornell, or call 607-385-3188 for more info.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Doran's Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Doran's for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Doran's Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
It's amazing what a simple refresh can do to make a difference in your home. And Lowe's is here to help make it happen. Start by shopping our new wall tile selection with hundreds of mosaics, including modern blacks and blues. Marble mosaics starting at just $7.98. And finish off your project with dual scrub and stain-resistant Valspar Ultra Interior Paint Plus Primer starting at just $24.98 a gallon. Whatever updates you need to make today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 2/19 U.S. only.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. You'll proudly mow the lawn. Ask if anybody noticed you mowed the lawn. Tell people to stay off the lawn. Compare it to your neighbor's lawn. And complain about having to mow the lawn again. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance, which, of course, will go right into the lawn. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
And welcome back to the Prete Is On 92.1 The Team. It's your host, Dave Prete. And here in segment number 2, we have a special guest calling in on the Empire Access studio line. I want to welcome the head coach of the varsity girls basketball team at Hornell High School and the head coach of the varsity boys baseball team at Hornell High School, Brian Dyring. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for joining the show, Brian. And, I know that it's been a bummer for everyone, yourself included, as coach, that there's no baseball season this year, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But before we do, let's rewind a little and talk about the girls' basketball season. You had a very good season this year. You guys were successful on the court, and that's something you got to be really proud of from the play that your girls gave you this year during the basketball season.
Oh, absolutely. We've been pleased. We've been coaching the girls program now for 6 years. Myself, Matt Wing, Megan Bonaquisti, and Chris Clark joined the staff. And we've been very pleased for the last 6 years. They always give everything they can. They play an exciting style of basketball. They're just great student athletes.
Who's your go-to this year? What players did you lean on the most this season that were, kind of like the leaders of your team?
We lean really heavy on Leah Harkenrider, who's graduating this year, and Jaden Scotty, who's a junior. Both really talented, high IQ, hardworking kids. They excel on the basketball court as well as the classroom, too. So those were the two players that we leaned on the most heavily. What
emphasis do you put on these players to not only, obviously do good on the court, but do good in the classroom as well? Because, there's a lot of programs that really stress academics. There's some programs that are a little more lenient on their student athletes. What's your take on that? What's your belief on the whole student athlete combination?
Well, we come from the era of Mr. Crusoe, where academics were stressed. I really have no tolerance for kids or student athletes who don't get it done in the classroom. Most of these kids, if any, they're not going pro. They're going to make their living through education and academics. So, if you can't pull your weight in the classroom, there's really not a space for you in the program.
And, you bring that up, Brian, and I know you and I have talked about it and before kind of joked about that whole, my kid's going to go pro mentality and the pressure that parents put on their kids, not only at the high school level, but even before then, all the way down to the youth programs. And it's really, really frustrating to me as a person who's been involved in coaching athletics, the amount of pressure that some parents do put on their children to the point where the kids almost, just fall out of love for the game because there's so much pressure put on them. How do you respond to parents who you see maybe putting that extra pressure on their kids and making things even more difficult than it needs to be for them?
If I can give any advice, and this is experience, having two daughters who play sports right now and a son who he's 4 and I'm guessing will be into athletics when he gets older. You got to sit back as much as you want to see them succeed, and try to protect them from failure. You got to let them fail. You got to expect them to fail. I think a lot of parents forget, if they did play, how much they failed as young athletes and the learning process that it actually takes. And, me personally, I've come and looked at it this way. Your years of watching your kid play sports is extremely limited when you look at the big picture. So try to do the best you can to sit back, relax, and enjoy watching them play, because when their time is done playing, it's done. So enjoy those fleeting moments as much as possible.
Yeah, that's great advice. And there's a lot of living vicariously by parents, and again, that's unfortunate, because you have to let your kids be kids and enjoy the game and enjoy whatever it is that they're involved in, even if it's not sports, if it's music or whatever else that they're doing. Once you take that enjoyment away from them, and it's no fun for them, they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and I think people forget the kids put enough pressure on themselves because they want to succeed. It's not like they're going out there and they want to fail, they want to lose. They put enough pressure on themselves where anything outside of that is just pretty much unnecessary.
Yeah, and hopefully, with this whole COVID-19 coronavirus, isolation that we've been in, and quarantine or lockdown, whatever you want to call it, families have become more appreciative of each other and spent more time together and better understand each other. I think there's, in a crazy, hectic lives that we normally live in, there's just that extra pressure, too, of kids to make sure mom and dad are happy, and mom and dad don't know really what's, making the kids tick and stuff like that, because there's just not a lot of time spent together with everything going on. So hopefully this has been a time where, families have just kind of bonded together and really got a better sense of each other. Speaking of the coronavirus, how did that affect your basketball season? I know baseball is not going to be played. I mean, with schools now being shut down. So kind of transition me, because it was right around the time basketball was ending, baseball season was starting. Did it affect basketball at all? And how disappointed are you that it's affected your baseball season by not allowing you to play this year, when the team that you're coaching had very high expectations this season?
Right. Well, as a team, it didn't affect us. It affected the teams that were going on to play in the state tournament for basketball, because they ended up canceling all the state tournament games and things of that sort. So we didn't make it to that point. So we got everything in that we were, that we played. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a player or two who went through the coronavirus, because we had some kids very, very sick for very long periods of time, so, it affected some kids, I think, individually who, I'm not saying they did, but there's a possibility that they could have went through that during our season. But as a team, as a whole, it didn't affect our season outcome. But you had teams who were getting ready to play in the state tournament who got that state tournament canceled.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate for those. And there were a couple of local schools that were involved in the state tournament, and they're never going to get, obviously, that opportunity back. You're also a faculty. You're a teacher at Hornell High School, and the seniors this year, this has got to be really, really hard on them. I know I had asked a couple seniors that we've had on in the past few shows what the final few months of school has been like, and obviously they're very disappointed because they're not going to get to play their spring sports schedule out. They graduation could be affected. The senior things like the senior prom and all of the end of the senior year stuff that they have going on, all the camaraderie has definitely been affected. What can you, as a teacher, what message can you give to those seniors and the students who are really looking forward to the final few weeks and months of their senior year?
It's hard to give advice in that situation, because I've talked to some guys that I've played with and went to school with, and we've talked about, imagine losing, your senior year of athletics and academics, and, even for those poor student athletes and students that go to college, losing your last year, it's pretty devastating. I guess though, I guess if I were to give any advice is be thankful that hopefully you and your family stayed healthy through this whole thing. Get ready and prepare for that next chapter in life that's going to, bring you into adulthood and hopefully success. Don't dwell on all the, things all the negatives, try to look at, hey, our families made it through, I can still go into college or the military or the workforce, whatever decision these kids make, and still get on with my life.
Yeah, and that's great advice. Again, I feel horrible that they're not able to experience what all of us or most of us have been able to experience as seniors. But maybe there's something that the community can do to rally around, even if it's over the summer, to give them the send off that they all deserve. Now we only have a couple minutes left in this segment, so Brian, you, as I mentioned, you're the head coach of the Hornell High School varsity baseball team. You guys were projected or predicted to have a great season this year. Obviously, there's no season now because of school being canceled for the rest of the year. And I know that that's got to be very disappointing for you as a coach, but tell me a little bit about what your thoughts were on this upcoming season, what your expectations were, where you thought you guys would be, and some of the players that you were really looking forward to coaching in, this season had it played out.
We were very excited going into our preseason, and the fact that we got outside early made it even more exciting because we got to see all this talent out on the field early. We had a lot of seniors, 7 or 8, I believe. Our anticipation was definitely making a sectional title run, and then possibly beyond making a little run. We had 5 high-quality arms that we could put up on the mound. You take those seniors and add them with really talented underclassmen, and it's not very often where you get a senior-heavy team with talented underclassmen to come all together at one time. So, it's like we missed a big opportunity this year, and it's sad for all the kids. How many seniors
were on the varsity baseball team that you'll be not getting back next year?
8, I believe.
Wow, so that's a big number.
Yeah, and all would have been major contributors too.
Well, again, I know that's got to be very disappointing, very frustrating, to miss out on that opportunity. But, hopefully next year you get the juniors coming up and stepping up in those senior roles and some other guys moving up, from what would have been the JV program. And you guys can get right back on track where you were. Brian, thanks again for your time. Great interview. I'm glad you could make the show. Good luck to you. And I know, we're all looking forward to the next school year and what comes with it, with basketball, baseball, and all the other sports at Hornell High School.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Anytime.
Hey, have a good night and stay safe.
You too, brother. Talk to you soon.
We'll be back in the next segment with Tony Fuller, head baseball coach of McQuaid Jesuit High School in Rochester, in just a few minutes.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-557-7921. 800-557-7921. 800-557-7921. That's 800-557-7921.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
800-430-1891. 800-430-1891. 800-430-1891. That's 800-430-1891.
Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Welcome back to the Prete Is On 92.1 The Team. I want to thank Brian Dyring, head baseball coach at Hornell High School and head girls varsity basketball coach as well, for joining us last segment. I now have, in this segment, on the studio line, calling from Rochester, New York, Tony Fuller. Tony is the head baseball coach at McQuaid Jesuit High School, as well as the general manager for Diamond Pro. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Now, Tony, before we get into talking about coaching and some other baseball stuff, we're going to talk a little bit MLB, since you're a big baseball fan like I am. Can you tell me a little bit about what Diamond Pro is and tell the listeners? I know, as I mentioned, you're the general manager. Tell me what your role is and exactly what Diamond Pro does.
Yep, so Diamond Pro Baseball, we're a youth travel organization. We have our own facility in East Rochester, New York, which is right next to Penfield. We have a turf facility, has 8 batting cages that can pull back, has open turf. We host 12 travel teams that we have. So we have 12 Diamond Pro Hurricanes, we call them, travel teams, from 10U all the way up to 17U. And we also hold individual lessons, camps, clinics from the winter all the way through the summer. Typically, guys that play for us, have ambitions to play college baseball. Our last, we have two guys that are in the 2021 class right now. One's committed to the University of Miami, and the other is committed to the University of Virginia. They're probably the two of the highest touted players in New York State, and they just obviously happen to be from Rochester, New York, and they played for us. Gage, that's going to Miami since he was 10 years old, and Casey since he was 13.
As a Miami Hurricanes fan, I can really appreciate that. So good luck to both of those gentlemen. What is your role as general manager of the organization, Tony?
It's just operating the day-to-day operations, making sure our registrations for camps are where they need to be, facilitating all our instructors. We probably have 15 total instructors that work camps and individual lessons. They were either former college baseball players or former professional players, so organizing them, make sure they have everything they need. But the main part of my job is organizing our 12 travel teams from 10U to 17U, scheduling them in all their tournaments, league play, practice schedules, and just keeping everything organized in that sense for all the travel teams.
Is there a website or social media where people can find more information on Diamond Pro?
Yep. So our main website for the business for lessons camps is icanhit.com. And then we have a separate website dedicated just for our 12 travel teams, which is teamdiamondpro.com. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're Diamond Pro Baseball on all three, and you can find us there and follow us. Especially on Instagram, we are very active with our, especially everybody being home right now. We throw out a lot of drills that you can do inside at your house to make sure you're keeping up with your baseball activity.
And this is a year-round program, is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, basically, we have fall ball options as well, September, October. Our travel teams are going in November, and basically go from November to August. Obviously, we have a bunch of guys that play multiple sports, but we have, we're very flexible with those guys, and, with having the indoor facility that's ours, gives, those multi-sport athletes, that option to really come in whenever they want to get their work in and continue to develop throughout the year.
Now, under the current conditions with the coronavirus restrictions and the lockdown, are you having, are you still hosting kids at this point, or have you shut down operations until we're able to, all get back to normal?
Yeah, we've been shut down just because of the, Governor Cuomo's guidelines. We've been shut down since, whenever that was in later March, and we're just waiting to get the go-ahead that we're allowed to open in some facet, whether it be individual lessons or small groups. All our guys and all our coaches were definitely eager to get back working with the guys, whenever we're given the go-ahead to do that.
Okay, now you're also the head coach at McQuaid Jesuit High School.
So we are obviously out of private school out of Rochester, New York. This would have been my fifth year. Obviously, the season's canceled this year, but I've been there for 4 years. We have won 2 Section 5 championships. Last year, we were AA Class AA state champions, and we finished ranked 24th in the country in the last USA Today poll. But it's been a pretty rich tradition throughout the years at McQuaid for McQuaid baseball, and given that was our first ever state championship.
It's got to be, just like Coach Dyring that was just on before you, it's got to be very disappointing not being able to have a season this year, especially for a program that's so rich in history.
Yeah, it's definitely very disappointed. Just talked with the guys today. Reached out to my seniors. I've been doing Zoom class with our guys every week, but particularly reached out to the seniors today once we heard, and yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's brutal. This year we only had 3 seniors. We had a heavy senior class last year, only 3 seniors this year, but nonetheless, very disappointed for those guys, and there's not much you can say. It's nothing you can expect, and it's just an unfortunate situation for them.
It sure is, and it's, as I told Coach Dyring, very, very unfortunate, especially for those seniors, and we're really looking forward to that final season on the field, and hopefully they'll get an opportunity, or most of them, to go on and play in college somewhere, because I know you have a lot of college level or college caliber talent that goes to McQuaid Jesuit. Tony, you were also the former head coach of the Hornell Dodgers, in case people did not know that, for 2 seasons, I believe?
Yep, 2 seasons.
For 2 seasons. So the Dodgers, for the first time in their history since 1994, have canceled their season this year. Tell me a little bit about your experience when you were the Dodgers head coach here in Hornell.
Yeah, I got a text from Paul Welker, the GM, a couple weeks back whenever they made the decision, and I know that's a difficult decision. The Hornell Dodgers is such a important part of the town, but my experience was tremendous. It was definitely two of the best summers of my life. I remember driving in, coming from Rochester. I went to University of Buffalo, and I think I was only 23 or 24 my first year, so I was young, and I remember going in for my first year. I'd never been to Hornell, and getting off the Dansville exit, and it was all farmland, and I was thinking, what the heck did I get myself into? But it ended up being two of the best summers that I can remember, and the town was amazing, and the people were amazing. The kids that came into Hornell were awesome, and I can't say anything better than it was 2 great summers.
And your wife is actually from Hornell.
Yeah, my wife is from Hornell.
So we hooked you in all different kinds of ways, Tony.
Yep.
We're glad you had that experience, or
yes.
You might not know each other.
Exactly.
So you obviously are a big baseball fan, as am I, and this no baseball at any level, from youth all the way up to professional, is really just killing me right now. I'm sure it is you as well.
Yeah.
There's been some different talks of different proposals for the Major League Baseball, to carry on and have their season. Probably going to be a shortened season, as they were supposed to start just a little over a month ago, actually. What do you think of some of the proposals that they've had? They've talked about possibly playing games in Florida and or Arizona, breaking up teams by different divisions based on where their spring training homes are, possibly playing in front of, no fans in these big stadiums. And it all sounds okay because, in my opinion, it's better than having no baseball at all. But logistically, I just don't know. I don't see how it's going to happen. How do you feel if they do play games in front of no fans? Is that going to take away from the value of the game? Is it going to take away from the value if they, break up divisions and have National League teams in the same division as American League teams just for this one season, and then, next year hopefully they go back to the way it was? Or do you think this is something that, could be really interesting for this 1 year?
I'm definitely skeptical of if they can pull it off. You have so many guys from different parts of the country, here, and then different parts of the world. So, there's so many things going on with what's going on with, the coronavirus and everything like that. I mean, I just don't see it feasible where, this guy's coming in from this country, this guy's coming in from this country. I just don't see it happening. But if it does, I mean, obviously we'll take any baseball over no baseball, but, it definitely ruins a little bit of, what we're used to. We're used to American League, National League, those certain rivals and situations that we look forward to. So, it is what it is. They're doing the best they can, and they want some baseball, and we want some baseball, but, no fans definitely ruin the atmosphere. And, I heard I read some article, and, that the best you can say it is, these games, whatever they might be, are certainly only made for TV with no fans. And, I'm sure we'll tune in to watch them because, we're all Netflixed and TV'd out, and we just want to see some baseball. But, it's that atmosphere, those fans, that, that electricity when you're in the stadium, that you can't replace that, and you can't replicate that. So, I know the players will miss it, and, we'll miss it being there. But, at this point, I think you do what you can, try to get something in, and mainly for, you think about these minor league guys. I mean, I think that's the big part of it. You got minor league baseball guys that are in a big part of their career that they're sacrificing a lot, making no money, and they might lose an entire year of their development. I mean, that's a part of the picture that we don't even talk about that I think is more important than, these major league guys, playing games with no fans.
Yeah, in the major leaguers, I mean, they're going to get paid no matter what. Now, the owners, on the other hand, they're going to lose a lot of money. And I know in a lot of cases it's hard to feel sorry for billionaire owners, but at the same time, I mean, they're potentially losing out on 81 games, which is how many home games minus the playoff teams that they would make in that revenue. So there's a lot of ways that coronavirus is affecting, not only baseball but sports in general. And do you think that a shortened season or a gimmicky season, if for lack of a better term, would devalue whoever wins the championship this year if they do end up having a season and playing it all the way through?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it just has to. It just wouldn't be the same, especially if they're. Again, I don't know the latest. You probably know the latest of it, but I heard about the spring training one. Then I heard about potentially in Arizona doing the the Cactus League and whatever the other one's called, and it's just not the same. There's something being said for how do you handle playing in front of 30,000 fans versus no fans, right? So there a different player comes out in those situations, and it's just my opinion, but it's not the same. You almost have to put it in its different category. 2020 is the the coronavirus stats and champion. It's got to be, in my opinion, totally separate.
The asterisk season, yeah, and
yes.
There was. I remember a few years back, 3 or 4 years back, when the Orioles played a game in their home stadium at Camden Yards during some of the riots in downtown Baltimore, and there were no fans in the stadium. And I remember one of the players, Adam Jones, maybe, who was with the Orioles at the time, saying that it was the weirdest experience he's ever had playing in front of no fans. You could hear a pin drop, and other than the crack of the bat and the smack of the glove, that's all you could hear. And they're used to hearing fans heckle them and cheer for them and boo them and whatnot. And there was nothing. It was silence. And he said it was a really weird experience. So I can only imagine what playing a whole season or a half a season would be like in a venue like that. So we're talking with Tony Fuller, head baseball coach at McQuaid Jesuit High School in Rochester and general manager of Diamond Pro. And Tony, one more question before I let you go, because we are running out of time here in this segment. You are a big Yankees fan. You were a big Derek Jeter fan when he played. It was just announced this week that the 2020 Hall of Fame inductions have been postponed until 2021. And again, I had touched on this a little bit in my beginning segment. It's so disappointing, especially for the Yankee fans who've been waiting for 5 years, for Jeter's day to come when he could give that speech at Cooperstown. How does that make you feel as a Yankee/Jeter fan to have to put this off for another year? And do you think that MLB made this decision too hastily, or do you think that they did the right thing?
No, I think they did the right thing. I mean, it's going to generate a huge crowd, a huge opportunity for Cooperstown, being a small town. The restaurants and shops there. So, he's gonna be there the following year, and I think it would be doing a disservice to Cooperstown for maybe having a closed event or something where I'm sure he'll come back next year and do his speech, and it will be crowded, and it'll be good for everyone. But as Yankees fans, we got to experience a lot of championships on the field, which that's kind of what we look for. I know the Mets fans struggle doing that. So
hey, watch it now.
we can wait another year to watch him get inducted. He gave us a lot of thrills during his playing career.
Yeah, the Mets don't have too many guys inducted in the Hall of Fame, so when we get in, it's quite an experience, because I think the last one that went in as a Met was Mike Piazza. All joking aside, though, Derek Jeter, one of the most respected players in the game, just a classy individual, played his whole career with the Yankees, and it was just such huge news when the news came that he was inducted. Not that there was really going to be any doubt that he wouldn't be on his first ballot. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it would.
I don't think it matters the time that he gives a speech and gets his time. Gets his time to make a speech and do his thing. So it's another year of anticipation for a great event.
Yeah, are you going to be heading to Cooperstown for that next year?
No, probably not. But I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd rather watch it, man. All right, well, Tony, thank you for joining us. A lot of great information. Again, look for Diamond Pro online. You want to give that website one more time, Tony?
It's icanhit.com. And if you want to check out our 12 travel teams, it's www.teamdiamondpro.com.
All right, well, good luck to you. And again, hopefully we're back to normal and you guys get to play some baseball this summer and we get to watch some baseball this summer. Thanks for joining us, Tony. Stay safe.
Definitely. Thanks for having me on. See you, Dave.
We'll be back with our final segment on the Prete Is On after this break.
This local sports show here on 92.1 The Team is brought to you in part by Rhonda Wilsey. Spring is here. Now's the time to buy or sell your home. When choosing a local real estate agent, choose someone with 2 decades of experience. Rhonda Wilsey has been helping people like you find their new home for over 18 years. Call Rhonda Wilsey at 607-382-4539 or email Rhonda at rhondawilsey@howardhanna.com.
Do you lead an active lifestyle? Are you trying to reach that next level in your fitness or active lifestyle? Stop into Next Level Wellness in Hornell. Next Level Wellness offers CBD options that help promote muscle recovery and regrowth. Their CBD products are the perfect addition to pre- and post-workouts. CBD helps reduce inflammation, allowing you to recover faster from workouts. If you're ready to step up your training or take your game to the next level, then stop into Next Level Wellness or shop online at nxlevelwellness.com. Next Level Wellness, 10 Seneca Street, Hornell, or call 607-385-3188 for more info.
And welcome back to the Prete Is On for our final segment. This is our closing of our show. We have about 3 or 4 minutes left here in the show, and I want to thank everyone for listening. I did start an email, Brian, for the show, and the email address is thepreteison, and Prete is spelled Prete, @gmail.com. So thepreteison@gmail.com. There's also a Facebook page. If you search The Prete Is On, it should come up, and you can join that group and take a look at some cool pictures that I've posted over from the past year or two, and I've had the opportunity to meet some really cool people. Ken Shamrock, former UFC, WWE star. Lanny Poffo, the genius, was actually a guest on our show a few weeks back. Got some cool photos on the Facebook page from when I went to the Mets Open practice last year in Syracuse, which was her first year as when the Syracuse Mets now used to be the Chiefs. First year that Syracuse became the Mets AAA farm team, they had an open tryout. Got some cool pictures of one of Noah Syndergaard. His autographed ball sits on my mantle. So check out the Facebook page. And again, the email address, thepreteison@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show. Be nice, please. And also, what I'm really interested in is I want to hear from people, and drop me an email or post on my Facebook page how you think your team did in the draft last week. Bills fans, I'm interested to see what you think. Any other teams that you may root for? And I'll read some of the responses that I get next week on the show. I'm hoping to get my mother, affectionately known as Nana Prete, best spaghetti sauce in the area, by the way, on our show next week. Possibly Papa Prete as well, if I can get him away from watching Fox News for more than 30 seconds. Nana and Papa Prete household. So hoping to get my mom on for a brief segment next week. A huge Mets fan, and I know she like myself is just dying without baseball right now. She loves the Mets, watches them every night, and just missing them so much. We were just having a conversation about it. So I want to talk to my mom about what life is like right now without the Mets playing. And one other final thought, and I forgot to mention this in the first segment when we were talking about the NFL, Andy Dalton, the longtime Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback, who got a huge contract a couple of years ago. When he got that contract, I had made the argument I didn't think he was worth it. He, in my opinion, kind of a middle-tier quarterback, an average-run quarterback, maybe it's because of the team he was on or the system that he's been in, was released earlier this week, just days after the Bengals drafted with the number 1 pick in the draft, Joe Burrow out of LSU. And I posted on my Facebook page, on the Prete Is On Facebook page, Andy Dalton, don't be surprised if he ends up a New England Patriot. That's what the rumor's been. I'm surprised. I'd be very surprised if Bill Belichick hasn't already made a phone call or two to Dalton. And don't be surprised if Andy Dalton goes to the Patriots and keeps the beat going up there, and they continue to be a playoff team, because I think he's got talent. I think he just needs to be in the right system, which could very well be the Bill Belichick system for Andy Dalton. So those are some final thoughts on the show. I do want to thank, once again, our first responders, our frontline workers, our healthcare workers, all of those who are keeping us safe and healthy here in this very critical time. Our essential workers who are also working in the front lines and providing services for us every day. I can't thank you enough. This is a very tough time, and hopefully it's all over very soon. But keep doing what you're doing. Everybody in the community appreciates it. And we will be back next Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for the Prete Is On. Thanks for listening to the show.